And we are live. This is a spoiler discussion for Zack Snyder's Justice League. Thank you so much for joining me. Gio here from the Fandom United podcast. And I'm not alone. Joining me once again is a fellow podcaster of mine, Mr. Keith Barnes. How are you, sir?
Hey, what's going on, Mr. Gio? It's a big week, big weekend for all movie fans. Certainly all comic book movie fans, but obviously, especially if you're a fan of DC Comics and all the DC characters. And Zack Snyder, of course, and the Snyderverse, big weekend. So can't wait to talk about it.
Yeah, man, I gotta say, I'm a little surprised at the reception that this movie is getting. I mean, I don't really pay too much to the critics nowadays, but they seem to be liking this movie. And take it for what it's worth, but the Rotten Tomatoes score is pretty favorable for this movie.
What is it? I actually haven't looked at it.
I think it's like 74%.
Oh, okay. I thought it was lower. Oh, okay, well, good. I was worried it was like low.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
so
good.
Yeah, so that's pretty exciting. But how many times have you seen this movie?
Just the once. I started it right at midnight, like so many people. Like certainly I know you did. I wasn't planning on it. I was just like, I went to HBO Max right at 12. It didn't come up right at first. I refreshed, exit the app, started again. I think it popped up. So it must have been 12:01. I think is when it came on.
Right.
When I went back, that's when it was on there, and I went, okay, let me just see how it starts. And then I wound up watching the first 35 minutes. I got all the way up to the attack on Siniscara. Watched through that, and then I was like, oh, I'm tired. I gotta go to bed. Went to bed the next day, right around 8:30. My daughter Sophia and I watched the whole thing. Watched the whole from that point on. Picked it up from there and watched the whole rest of it. And I just was watching little bits and pieces of it a little while ago, right before we started here. So
right,
I want to watch it again. To be honest, it's a slog, man. It's 4 hours, but it's good. Like I legit want to watch it again. So I'm gonna try to get it in for this weekend.
Yeah, I've seen it 3 times so far.
Okay,
3 times.
Nice. Start to finish.
Start to finich.
Oh wow, goodness!
I can't wait to watch it a 4th time. It's that epic and rewarding of a journey, especially for somebody who's been calling for this movie and championing the movement and whatnot, and just trying to do their part in making this movie happen. So
Sure.
We're gonna go through all 6 parts. We're gonna deep dive into this as much as we can. So I hope you have some notes ready. So give me your overall thoughts of this movie. Your overall, thoughts. If somebody were asking you, hey, how'd you like Zack Snyder's Justice League? What'd you think?
Awesome. It was awesome. And so for me, and if anybody watching us that's kind of carried over from our other channel, Apocalypse Movies, I've been kind of, and I like Zack Snyder. It's nothing to do with him. We've had our kind of fun battles over Batman v Superman, but love Man of Steel, obviously. We all love.
We still do.
Yeah, everyone loves Man of Steel. We still, yeah. Man of Steel's a classic. So this one going in, I was, hey, Sean Franklin. I was definitely open about it. I was, yeah. There we go. Buddy Jacob Bartley getting in there. Can't wait to talk to him about it. But I knew at worst it would be just okay because Zack Snyder, he's a good filmmaker, right? Like it's Justice League. It could, like I said, it can only get better from where the theatrical release. So I was expecting it to be at least okay, and right away, the opening scene, and we'll talk about it. I was a little like, I was kind of confused, and maybe I don't know. We'll talk about it, but from there on, like I said, it's long. That's the only thing I was dreading was the runtime. But like I said, I just watched it all. It's not. I wasn't at least. I was definitely tired because I was watching it after work. But I don't know. I don't know how to say it. Like I was somebody that was just like, we'll see. Like I said, when they first announced it, I was like, I don't really care. And now I'm coming away like this movie's amazing. It really was. I mean, everyone that called for it and was asking about it, Zack Snyder himself. I'm really glad. I'm glad we got it. Glad we got to see it. I've done a full 180. Like I messaged you and said, you know what? I'm fully on board.
A full 180. Wow.
Fully converted.
You're not alone. You are not alone.
Hey, I'm a Snyder bro. I'm in. This movie's awesome. I'm joining let's keep this thing going. Let's keep it going. Especially that ending they talked about. We'll get to that later. But I can't believe they would just end it with this. So I don't know what's going on with Warner Brothers, but yeah, figure out a way to keep this thing going, man. I like this movie was. There still has. I have just tiny little nitpick things, but other than that, I mean, honestly, this movie's good. It's really, really good. I mean, I don't know what else to say. It's a very good movie. I really liked it. I really did.
All right. Well, we're gonna dive deep into this. Let me give my quick thoughts real quick. So, as I've said, I've seen this movie 3 times now. And so that's 4, 8, 12 hours invested.
Yes.
And I'm wanting more.
Yeah.
I'm wanting more. Like,
yeah.
What a journey you go through with Zack Snyder's Justice League. You know, it's really one of epic proportions, to say the least. The character backstories, they're just incredible. There's definitely some standouts among these characters, but it's also a sort of return to form of the characters that got ruined in the 2017 movie.
Mm-hmm.
Most notably Bruce Wayne, Batman, played by Ben Affleck. You see his portrayal in Snyder's original version, and you're like, that is the Ben Affleck Batman that I liked in Batman v Superman.
Right.
And we'll talk about him. There's a different version. I think Batman fans are going to be definitely happy with what they're seeing with Ben Affleck's Batman. I already described it as a journey. It's better than the 2017 movie in every way. If there was one movie that you're going to compare this movie to, it's not a Marvel movie. It's not a blockbuster giant team up movie from another big IP. It's the 2017 Justice League movie, because we all saw that movie. We were promised, we were hyped up back in 2017 that we were getting a fun, epic team up DC movie, the first time it's ever happened on screen. And a majority of us left that movie like, what was that?
What just happened? Yeah.
Exactly. And sorry, guys, that's my baby right there. Yeah. She's 1 year old. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? But it's just this movie is better in so many ways. We're gonna get into it. But everyone who I've talked to that's discussed this movie, that has seen this movie, they enjoyed it. They loved it. Maybe their expectations were low. I mean, and understandably so,
Yeah. I was thinking about myself. I was wondering.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be open. I was saying, I didn't want to go into it like that. I said, I expected it to be better for sure. So it wasn't like, I don't know, and I'm just for myself. Like, I don't want my expectations to be low. I don't think they were super high. I was open. So I just, like I said, Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
Sorry, my computer's glitching. But so but it sounds like some people did have some pretty low expectations. Like you said, I guess I get that. But.
Yeah. So let's get into this movie. Let's start because it's a long movie. It's a big journey, and obviously it starts off with a prologue, right? It picks up right where Batman v Superman left off, and immediately, right away, in the first 5 minutes, you can tell, oh, this is going to be a different movie. Yeah. Zack Snyder's name may have been on the 2017 version, but this one feels more like a Zack Snyder movie. And it's the opening retelling the sacrifice that Superman made in Batman v Superman. And I especially love the visual effects, how they were able to illustrate his yell, his cry going throughout the world and further beyond. I mean, we see it in Gotham where Cyborg is laying low. We see Ray Fisher as full on Cyborg, no reveal. It wastes no time with that. And then it goes to Atlantis, and you see the Atlanteans like, what the hell's going on? And then from there, it goes to Themyscira with the Amazonians. And for myself, I love that you got to see that Superman's death was felt throughout the universe. You know, that something happened, guys, something big, and it's awakening these mother boxes.
So that's what that's I was a little confused on it. I didn't quite get it. Yeah, maybe, and so you can. I know I just interrupted you, but I was just kind of like, well, I didn't. First of all, did he? I don't recall that in Batman v Superman, right? Did he scream like that? I don't think he did, right?
Well, he did, but there wasn't the visual effects of the
like the sound wave or whatever.
The cry echoing.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, throughout. So that wasn't in there, but I think it was added to show the audience that, okay, Superman yelling just didn't, wasn't, just a brief explanation that, the bell has already been rung. They had to show it in a way that his cry reached out to everyone, Atlanteans, Amazonians, so on and so forth.
And that woke up the mother boxes? Or was
I'm sorry?
It did, and that's what activated or woke up the mother boxes? Or I didn't quite, like I said, I just wasn't really sure what.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah, because, and they say it later on in the movie that, these mother boxes were there, but it wasn't until Superman died that they were calling to, their master. Once the Kryptonian is dead, that's it. And Wonder Woman says, there's only one being I've ever seen who maybe is as strong as these apocalyptians, Steppenwolf, Darkseid. It's Superman. The moment Superman died, these mother boxes, and they say it again in the movie, they're dogs without a master. They call to their master. So for me, I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was
no, and it looked incredible. I just was like just within the story, like the mechanics of his, like the literal, like the scream part, like the sound, you know what I mean? Like the visuals was incredible, but I just was not confused at that being the thing that woke it up. And I guess just as a device to show or whatever for those, I guess that in that sense it makes sense when you explain it. But I just didn't know. I didn't know what was going on. I was watching. I was like, wait, what? I don't remember that, or I didn't know. I didn't really get it. I don't know. But okay, yeah, like I mean, it works. It works. It makes sense, I guess. But just if he didn't scream though, what would have happened? I don't know. Would it just? That's kind of what I was thinking about. Like if he hadn't screamed like that, if he just died, I don't know, some other way. I don't know. Like
if his head just got.
like if Doomsday just kind of tore him in half or something. Like what? How would they have?
Well, I mean, I think, and see, it's like
I don't know, maybe not worth.
No. See, what it is whether he screamed or not, it's the fact that the Kryptonian died.
Yeah,
the last son of Krypton is dead, and these mother boxes, they can sense that.
They just knew. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Okay, because they said they do kind of like think or whatever. So
yeah.
So okay, all right.
Yeah, I know. These movies don't exactly, explain it the shortcut way like that other universe that we won't talk about. But
we'll get out of here.
Yeah. So for me, that was a standout of the prologue. It was like the awakening of the mother box and them calling to, their masters. And then it gets into part 1, Don't Count on It, Batman, which I love that title. That's awesome. And it's true. It's from what we know of the movie, Batman's going to try and recruit these members, but it's not going to happen so easily. Now, a lot of the footage in Don't Count on It, Batman, at least early on, is shots that we've seen before, sort of, just a lot better original footage.
Yes.
And, none of that cringy stuff from the 2017 movie. But the standout was the Icelandic folk song. I don't know if you how you felt about that when the natives started, chanting and singing.
Yeah.
What's that face for?
That was one I if I were editing, I would have cut.
Really?
I didn't really. It kind of, and there's a lot of this throughout the movie where, like I said, it's beautiful shots. It again looks incredible, but I don't know. I just kind of would have probably cut that. I didn't really get. I wish I at least knew what they were singing.
Yeah,
that probably
but you know what? It's like, for me, the fun about these movies, the enjoyment that you could take away is the experience continues after the movie.
Sure.
You want to know what that's about.
Yeah.
And I did some research.
Okay.
So check this out. The Icelandic folk song is actually a very popular song. It's pronounced Vishu Vashan Dedos by Björk. And it's an Icelandic folk song.
Oh, Björk.
And
okay.
I'll put this in the chat for you guys. Okay. This is the translation of the song. Okay. And look, I get it. Okay. It's not funny. It's not catchy. It's not, it's not a quip, but it's so beautiful once you learn the meaning behind it. And what it says is, I won't sing it because I'm not a good singer, and 2, I'm not there yet. Okay, so I got my wine here, but I'm putting the translation in the chat for you guys to see, in case you were curious, like what they were saying. And it talks about, it's a song about grief. It's a song about these local people, and this one person in particular who picks up Arthur Curry's clothing and smells it. They see him as a savior, but some of them are like, I don't know you, but here is this. First off, here is this beautiful man who cares and comes to our village and in a way saves us.
Yeah.
Their savior. And the song about grief and about this person being lost at sea, it was just, it works for me, because it's like, well, why is the song in there? Well, let me do some research and find out, oh, wait, it's really a song about grief, about love, about finding your place. And look, have your own opinion about it, but these things are put in there to have a deeper meaning. And so I understand that it doesn't work, but once you do the research like I did, you're just like, wow. Now when I go back and watch it again, knowing some of these things in context, upon repeat viewings, I'm gonna find myself maybe enjoying it a little bit more. So that's how I took it. I get it. The first time you watch it, you're kind of like, not exactly your typical comic book movie, song of choice.
Well, no, but yeah, that makes sense. Like, well, I wish they would have subtitled it at least then. Yeah, that's like I said.
I got you,
because I could get the feel of it, but I just, me and my daughter, like I said, we were just looking at each other, like we both said the same thing. What is it? She was like, "What are they singing about?" I was like, I don't know. I wish, and it kind of, and it was it worked, like I said, visually, and like I said, within the moment, I could tell that it was something meaningful, but just didn't kind of, I don't know. So, but
That's fair.
that's cool. That's cool. You looked that up, and I didn't even think of that. So, look it up and see what it's about. So that's actually pretty good. Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, it's pretty fascinating to say the least.
Yeah.
So from there, and music actually plays a big part in this movie. Believe it or not, the song choices.
Mm-hmm.
It's a contrast from the 2017 version when we got that what was that Icky Thump song when Aquaman's drinking and he's just walking over the wharf.
Yeah.
That's a fun song, but like these songs that were chosen, they have more meaning
Right.
to them. And as Lois Lane, we see her visit, the fallen Superman statue and the wall of the fallen, those who died from the battle.
Mm-hmm.
There's another song that plays, and it's called Distant Sky. And the lyrics of the song is actually pretty beautiful. It says, "They told us our dreams would outlive us. They told us gods would outlive us." And I thought that fit perfectly for, what we were watching on screen, which is Lois Lane, just mourning in her grief, that Superman is dead. She can't believe it. And, throughout the movie, we'll talk about it more as we get into it. She just, is stuck in her grief until she gets a visit from a certain somebody, which we'll talk about later. But from there, we are introduced to Wonder Woman in the movie. And let me tell you, the score that plays when Wonder Woman is on screen, it's like a ancient operatic theme, it's like, it's oh my God. I'm just like, yes. It's perfect. And then we get this beautiful sequence of it's awesome of the Wonder Woman score with bullet time effects where she is just, and I love the little detail. The guy shoots one bullet, right? Wonder Woman goes bam, he goes, okay, switch it to automatic, and boom, 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 boom. Like, for those of you out there who, let's say Wonder Woman 1984 put a bad taste in your mouth for the character, Snyder definitely redeemed it with
absolutely.
How he handles the Wonder Woman character.
Definitely.
Like, my goodness. What do you think of that bullet time sequence?
Oh, it was awesome. It was awesome. As I said, and it's just like so many of these scenes where they're just kind of just well, there's the actual Zack Snyder versions of what we saw in 2017, right? And it just, even though it was kind of similar, but also just, you could just tell it was different. And yeah, it's just so much better. Like I said, the music was so much better. It's good to see her again. Like I said, I didn't mind Wonder Woman 84. I don't think I ever got to talk about it with you, but I can get a lot of the criticism.
Well, I mean, yeah, I only mentioned it because like I feel like for a lot of people that movie didn't, they were so high about Wonder Woman, coming off BVS and the first movie, that absolutely. Their opinion of the Wonder Woman 1984 overall maybe unfairly impacted how they felt about the character.
Right.
Whether, regardless of how you feel about the movie Wonder Woman 1984, the character was still great.
She's great. Yeah, exactly. She's awesome.
Yeah.
And that's how I've always been. I said I didn't mind that movie. But it wasn't. Whatever. But I was still glad to see her again. It was just like, oh yeah, Wonder Woman. You know what I'm saying? And especially in that sequence, which going back to the 2017. That was actually, I thought that was a pretty good scene. The opening sequence was her, but this one's even just, I mean, come on, that's way better. And I love how it ends with her, talking to the little girls. Like, that was awesome. Like, that really.
See, and sorry, you get the feeling that this movie lives up to its promise. They described Batman v Superman as The Empire Strikes Back. of this arc, this 5-movie arc. So this movie would be lighter tone naturally, and it is right away.
I would call this the Empire Strikes Back, to be honest, the way it ends.
Really?
But yeah, I could kind of, if they were going to continue, I think this might be the. I see what I get that, but I don't know, man. I think maybe both of them together.
Yeah.
But this one, yeah. Well, we'll get to the end, but I don't know. But yeah, but
before we move on, I got a couple comments.
I was gonna say, I just love at the end how she's literally going to each of those girls like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" I love that. That was really. I just love that scene. I thought it was really great.
Can I be like you someday? You can be anything you want.
That was awesome. Yeah, that was awesome.
That's not too on the nose. That's not corny.
No,
that is heroism right there.
Right.
But I got a comment here from Sean Franklin.
Okay.
Can't wait for Justice League sequel and Suicide Squad air cut. I think the air cut is definitely coming. It's on the way.
Really?
Justice League sequel. Yeah, look, people need to watch it this weekend. And I'm certainly doing my part to, campaign it, and hopefully those who watched the movie and enjoyed it, can voice their opinion online.
If they, and we'll just make this quick, and I don't know, we jump ahead too far, but are there any plans to release this on Blu-ray?
Yes.
Are they?
Okay, it'll be sometime in the 3rd or 4th week of May.
Okay, yeah. So that's where we gotta get everybody to buy that, and then we'll see how that goes. But
okay. Jacob says, "Thank you for being here, Jacob. Was the point of them praising Aquaman as like a god who? Yeah, you got to remember these are mythological, beings.
To them,
gods, demigods. He is the rightful heir to the king of Atlantis. Okay, so these characters." I know we're used to seeing comic book heroes a certain way because of, Marvel, and they do a great job at it. But DC, these heroes are so different than Marvel. And I'm not saying one is better than the other. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying you got a being like Superman, last son of Krypton. You got the daughter of Zeus, Wonder Woman. You got the king of Atlantis, half Atlantean, half human. These are different kind of superheroes. And so I think for me, like the way Zack Snyder portrays them, the way that he, shows their godlike, selves, their beings on screen, that's why I find the Icelandic song so impactful. Now that I've done my research, I'm like, oh wow, that is beautiful. But that was the intent all along. He said, I think the bottom line is what works editing wise, what makes the movie flow better, and this scene hurt that, in my opinion. Okay, all right. Well,
like I said, there's a few scenes like that throughout where they just hold on a little bit too long on some shots, Zack Snyder, and that's his style. Like a lot of the slow motion, a little long, just stuff, just dramatic, long, and I would just tighten it up, a few of those scenes up a little bit, just a little. The movie still would probably be well over 3 hours, but it would just shave down a few bits here and there. It kind of some scenes did drag just a little, not too much to where it takes you out. But
I'll say this. Okay, as much as I love this movie, and it is damn near perfect for me, no surprise. But I think there is a 3 hour to 3 hour and 15 minute cut of this movie, that would work just as great.
Right. I completely agree.
What that is, I don't know. Maybe I'll do a separate video where I'll rewatch it and be like, okay, you could take that scene out, and pretend like I know better than the editor or the filmmaker.
Exactly. That's
All right. So from there, and I forgot to mention this earlier, we go back to Themyscira, and the first time we see the Amazonians on screen, right away I'm just like, oh my god, Zack Snyder knows how to do Themyscira, Amazonians, Queen Hippolyta, make them so badass and so epic. Like when Steppenwolf lands and he says, I will feast off your fear or something like that. Queen Hippolyta claps back and is like, daughters of Themyscira, show him your fear. And then they all yell out loud, we have no fear. I'm like, my goodness, yes. Give Zack Snyder the Amazonian spinoff movie.
You're right. Yeah, man. They're goodness. Like, I would live on that. Obviously, I wouldn't because they've no men, but I would feel so safe living there. Just give me a team of Amazonians to follow me around. I feel totally safe in anywhere in the world.
Yeah. There are a few people out there who are just like, what is Zach doing to the Amazons or this and that? You gotta understand, like, this guy, he introduced us to Wonder Woman. Okay.
Yeah.
He made a very successful Swords and Sandals movie called 300. And I was taken back to that movie by watching these Amazonians. There was one shot where the Amazonian is swinging the hammer, and it's a shot of her abs, and I'm just
yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
No.
But leading into that, we get the chase sequence in Themyscira, which we saw like a watered down version in the 2017 movie. Again, if there's one movie you're going to compare this movie to, it's the 2017, and rightfully so.
No, you have to. You have to.
What'd you think about that chase sequence?
So, again, one of those things where it's kind of similar to the old one, but way better. Like, you can tell the differences. First of all, you mentioned the fear thing. Thankfully, and again, there's none of the Whedons, and I'm not going to use any of this to bash Joss Whedon necessarily, but they got rid of that whole thing of they smell fear with the Parademons. Now, that was all kind of nonsense, and I'm glad they got rid of all that. You kind of get a little bit of sense that is still kind of what's going on, but not necessarily. They don't mention it, or they don't, you know what I mean? So I'm glad they got rid of that stuff. But the Themyscira thing, it was awesome. Awesome attack. I love everything they did. I love that just kind of in a game of keep away, sort of. And you could get a sense of the threat way better. By the way, since we mentioned Steppenwolf, looks, sounds, everything so much better. So much better, man.
Yep.
I didn't really, I kind of watching the trailer, I still kind of felt like, well, it's the same. No, not at all. Not at all. It's just, they did oh my goodness, so much better with this version. So you really get a sense because they're all genuinely, like worried this guy showed up. My only issue with that scene is, and again, this is just within the story, not like technically or anything, but like they know he's coming, right? Like they see the mother box is fired up and they're just standing there. I'm like, grab the thing and get it out of there. I just felt like, man, they just waited just a little bit too late to try to seal him in. But I maybe just wanted to see exactly what's coming, but I felt like if you see that thing, that mother box, you know what it is. You see it turning on. Get it, grab it, get it out of here before whatever,
It did go back to sleep briefly.
You know what it did. Yeah, that's right. It did.
So they were just like,
oh, okay. They let their guard down a little bit when it.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
So, I don't know. Like I see your point.
No, yeah, that's not a big deal. It's a little nitpick, like I said. But
yeah, I thought the chase sequence was a lot better. I mean, first off,
he was brutal,
man. They work so well together.
Yes.
The shot where they each are trying to restrain Steppenwolf, and he's being dragged left and right, just like
get hit with arrows.
But then he grabs the ropes and the horses.
That was and just man, it was like 8 of them too. And he just grabbed them all and just that was crazy.
You get a real sense, like you said, a real sense of the threat. Yeah, and it's well done. And again, like the comparison I kept hearing about this movie is Lord of the Rings. And when you see the Legion of Amazonians come down the hill, it's just, and then the shot of them, you're like, I see it. I see it all the way. And we'll talk about it in the Age of Heroes with a flashback too, definitely. But so let's get to part 2, the Age of Heroes. Speaking of that,
yes.
So we get more dialogue between Bruce Wayne and Alfred, which, by the way, the two of them together, just awesome.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Like, still, go ahead.
I was gonna say I totally forgot about Jeremy Irons, man. I don't know why, because he's great Alfred. I completely forgot about it. He popped up and I went, oh yeah, Jeremy Irons is Alfred. So it's really great. Yeah, great to see him again. It really was. Yeah.
Yeah, and he again, he's kind of the voice of reason to Bruce Wayne. This Bruce Wayne, he's like,
right.
You're fighting, or he doesn't say you're fighting. You're working like there's no tomorrow. You said there's an enemy coming or something. There's no barbarian at the gate, and Bruce Wayne says, "Well, maybe these bad guys don't use a gate." And I enjoy the exchange between the two of them. It's top notch all the way through, regardless of how you feel about the movies. But we get a little exchange from them two in the plane about this Barry Allen that they're trying to figure out. They're trying to track him, and he's just too fast. He's just all over Central City. But this movie this part kind of jumps back and forth, between introducing different places. We get the Star Labs design. We get to finally see Star Labs. In the 2017 movie, I think we got like 2 shots of Star Labs, and that's it.
Right.
In this one, we get to see the Star Labs all in its glory. We're introduced to Ryan Choi, who we know in the comics becomes the Atom after Ray Palmer. Thank you. You saved me. I was about to get some hate comments. But and this part just kind of goes, all sorts of different places.
Yeah.
Aquaman saves the guy who was, in the boat about to drown.
Right.
And then, of course, we get the Themyscira shot or sequence of Queen Hippolyta lighting the arrow of Artemis to warn Diana.
Right.
Now, that one stood out to me because, again, the production design of Themyscira is just beautiful. And Connie Nielsen as Queen Hippolyta, oh my gosh, she's great, man. She is.
Agreed.
What are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. Great scene. I love the, like I said, the more fleshed out banter than the relationship between Bruce and Alfred. And this one, it's like so much more stuff in this movie, but everything felt more earned. And even going back to, if you want to pair this with Batman and Superman, like, did you see the way that I felt like his change was a little less organic in that for me, a little kind of rushed at the end. But if you take that all the way through to this, it feels more natural, felt more earned to me. Where like, oh yeah, he really does seem worried, and you know why? Because he's been having these visions, and he knows I don't say he knows what's coming, but he knows something really bad is coming, and he's like, you get the sense of urgency where he really wants to get some people together to help figure just whatever this threat is. And that's the thing, he doesn't really know. If anything, about Bruce Wayne / Batman, he's always prepared, or his preparation is his number one thing, right? Like, and so he has to have time to prepare. And you really get a sense like, oh man, he doesn't feel like he does have enough time to really prepare. And so you get that sense of urgency a little more in this. Like I said, you just taking what we know from BBS and bringing it over here. It felt. I know. I believed it. I got it. It was a lot better. Really, it worked. It definitely worked. And then and the lighting of the temple there, really cool. Actually, that was one of the few scenes, like I said, I liked in the previous one. But again, same thing. You get the sense of urgency because they just fought the guy, right? And so they know it's a big deal, like what's getting ready to happen. And we got to let her know, So, that did it all worked, man. I liked it.
And to your point about the sense of urgency, it really feeds off of that. When Diana goes to explore the caverns, the caves,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
to speak, and she enters a room and she sees a painting of Darkseid.
yeah.
That look that she gives, and we saw that in like one of the first teasers after the Snyder Cut was announced, where she's holding the torch and she's looking, and she looks terrified.
Yes.
Like,
Well, you
my
know what? The scene actually before when she was working in the museum and she sees it, when she sees it on the news,
Mhm.
I thought it was a good performance. Like her look on that, where she knows, okay, something's wrong.
invasion.
I would have cut that. I would have cut the invasion line, just gone with just the look on her face, because I thought that worked. Again, this is me being an editor. Again, like I said, it's nothing really negative for me. It's little nitpick things, but I thought that performance was great, and you couple it with, yeah, like you said, when she actually goes and looks at it. I remember, like I said, watching the trailer during, I think, was it Fandom? I think it was, right? DC Fandom. I don't know. Just for me, I just didn't really. That's a different mindset. I don't know. I just was like, nah. Now watching it within the context of the movie, you're like, oh yeah, no, this is bad. You can feel that dread, and she's just like, oh no, what are we gonna do? So
Yeah. So I talked about Arthur Curry and how he saves the guy from the storm.
Right.
The dialogue is so much better in this
Yes.
movie. This we talked about. This is all Chris Terrio. There's a line that Arthur says is like, tell him to respect the storm next time. And I'm just like, wow, yeah, absolutely. That's something Aquaman Arthur Curry would say.
Yeah.
And we talked about music and how music is so, like, it matters so much, the choices of music that you make, especially in a movie like this. And the song that plays when Arthur is walking back toward the harbor, toward the water, it's a beautiful song, and some of the lyrics here, I wrote it down. It says, there is a kingdom, there is a king, and lives without, and he lives within. And it's just like, that is totally Arthur Curry right there.
Yeah.
Where we meet him in this story. And of course, he goes and returns to the first. Oh, wait, hold on. Before that, the shot of him standing on the edge with the water just going left and right and hitting him.
Yeah.
And he's just like, yeah, I'm Aquaman. Badass.
But he threw that bottle in the water. Aquaman would not throw a bottle into the water.
Did he throw it in the water or did he throw it on the deck?
Oh, I thought he chucked it in the water. I don't know. He wouldn't litter though. Either way, he wouldn't litter. You guys know better. Come on, no, that was a funny thing. I was like, hey,
come on,
like throwing one.
Yeah. So,
Jason Momoa. I was forgetting. Sorry, just I hadn't watched Aquaman. I think of maybe shortly after it came out on home release. So I actually hadn't seen that in a while. I totally forgot how great he is in this role, man. He's so good. It really, really made me actually want to watch Aquaman again because I hadn't seen it in a while. So
yeah, no, definitely. So from there, we see Vocal for the first time.
Yeah.
William Dafoe.
Yeah.
He doesn't sugarcoat, what he says to Arthur, about, his half brother and how he's the rightful heir.
Right.
The reason Arthur keeps returning to the same place is because of his inheritance. Arthur says, "Oh, it's quiet here." No, it's because of your inheritance. You need to take up your mother's trident and go and be who you were born to be. Right. And it fits with what we know from Voco in Aquaman. He's looked after Arthur at a young age. Right. And then from there we get a Steppenwolf, after he collects the first mother box, goes and builds his little fortress, and we get to see Desaad. Well, sort of get to see Desaad for the first time, and we learn about Steppenwolf. We learn that he's not just a monster hell-bent on destroying the world. He has purpose, and his purpose is trying to redeem himself after betraying his family, his nephew, Darkseid, trying to take the throne.
Right.
What'd you think about that?
Let me tell you what. Now that stuff I absolutely loved. I wish. I actually wish we gotten more of that. I don't know how much more he left on the table, but because as we go out, we'll go through. We'll talk about it. But I was like, I was really left wanting more of all of that whole thing of Desaad and Darkseid and what's going on with all that stuff. Like, I don't know if maybe I missed. I mean, is there any explanation or do we know what happened, or is it just kind of vague? I don't know.
So what happened was Steppenwolf.
What did he do?
What's that?
I was going to say, what did he do?
He tried to take the throne after Darkseid got the throne of Apocalypse.
Oh, okay.
The ruler of Apocalypse. And so ever since then, Steppenwolf has been trying to redeem himself by taking over worlds and conquering it in the name of his dark side. Yeah, the great one. And you really see the emotion. I'll bring up a picture here. Look at that.
Yes.
Look at the emotion on Steppenwolf right there. He is trying to redeem himself. He's learned his lesson.
He's desperate. He's genuinely desperate. You get a real sense of that.
But he's not welcome back.
Right.
And that's all he wants is to go back. And if it means that he has to get these mother boxes, that's even more motivation for him.
Right.
But look at that facial expression, man. First off, the detail is amazing.
Better. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But to give him some emotion, look at that. I mean, if you were just to show certain people that, they'd be like, "Oh, look at the poor." Like, no, aw. There ain't no aw.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it definitely makes his motivation, like you said. It's not just he's just I'm here to take over the world, which is kind of how the first one was. Like, you really, okay. See, I can't for the life of me understand why they wouldn't include that before, but whatever. But yeah, definitely, like I said, and being that this is only one movie with this character, that's a great job of really explaining his purpose there. So,
all right, we got a question here from Jacob. Question: if Superman's death awakened the mother boxes, why were they asleep all that time before Clark landed on Earth, like 35 years before that?
Fair question. That's what I mean. Like, he had like 5,000 years before he got there. That's why I kind of wondered, like, well, why did that? What was that? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Well, there must be a reason. I mean, I don't know.
Well, again, we're used to this other universe telling us everything and sugarcoating over it. When DC tries to introduce a deeper mythology, it's like, well, no, wait, no, this and this. But that's not a commentary on you and your question at all. That's just my observation through, years of doing this. But why were they asleep? Well, and it goes into the flashback that we're about to get into of the Age of Heroes. They failed. They were sent out. Darkseid not Darkseid. He was Euxis at the time. Yeah. He almost died in that and had to leave behind the mother boxes. So again, dogs without their master.
Well, let's get into that. Let's get into that scene because I'm curious because it kind of ties into a question I have as well about the anti-life equation. But that was Earth, right? That battle was that was on Earth, right? That took place on Earth. Did he not know that?
Wait, what are you asking?
So the big battle, the flashback, the big Age of Heroes battle, right? When they're battling him.
Yeah.
That is Earth, right? Like, right? That was happening on Earth.
Yes.
Well, why is he not? And they defeated him. First of all, I do have some notes about that really quick. The lady with the glowing bow and arrow, who is that? Because she's incredible. And where's that weapon? Like,
you mean the
was she Amazonian? Was she Amazonian?
The Amazonian lady?
I'm like, man, who is that? And what is that glowing magic bow and arrow. That thing was awesome. Like who?
Oh no, for me the standout of that sequence was this guy right here.
Yeah,
Zeus.
absolutely. Zeus. Yeah.
Zeus. My goodness. But hey, talk about that sequence. What'd you think of it?
Loved it. It was so cool. It was so cool. Again, one of the kind of few pretty decent parts of the other one, but this one, once again, even better. You get all the armies coming in. You get the guy who's the Lantern. I don't know if we know if that's a character we know from the comics. I didn't know, but I should look that up. But I was hoping there'd be more. I was like, man, I should have had a few more lanterns there. That probably would have definitely helped. But whatever. But
well, we do see another lantern later on. But I mean,
do we? Okay, yeah. I understand. Okay, but yeah, and he didn't make a big green fist. He was just shooting lasers, man. You gotta make a big green fist and just smack like 40, 50 of them at a time. But no. That was a great scene. Like I said, I was just curious though, watching what appeared to be like, is that big mark? That's the anti-life equation, right? Or the symbol of it or whatever, not the actual fear times whatever. But did he not know that was there? Like, because it looked like he landed on it or saw it or.
Yeah, he was, and then he brought out the mother boxes to form the unity, so that way they would all lose their will. Because remember, the anti-life equation gives you the power to dominate the will of all sentient beings in the race. And
I had it, fear times it's a whole bunch of stuff. Whatever, you know what it is. But but my question though is because later on Steppenwolf was like, I found the anti-life equation, but I thought he already knew it was. He said it's on Earth, and it's like, well, that battle was on Earth. I thought he put it there, right?
Well, the battle was what, thousands of years ago.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a long time that passes, you know. So, maybe he forgot.
You forgot? Maybe, yeah, maybe he did. He did get hit pretty hard, so I don't know. Maybe he got hit with that big axe. So yeah, maybe. Okay.
I will say, look, they could have done a better job with the anti-life equation and the mother boxes. I'm not blind of my love for DC and Zack Snyder and these fans. Okay, I'm able to point out, certain things that could have been better. That's what this channel is all about: giving love, but also giving tough love.
Sure.
But yeah, I absolutely loved the sequence, and for me, it's one of the moments where the 4:3 ratio really shines.
Yes,
because you get to see the whole picture, without missing any of the picture. You know,
that didn't bother me. I know a lot of people complain about that. That didn't bother me at all.
I don't know. They don't understand. It's like, well, I don't want. Never mind. I'm not going to get into it. But yeah, I absolutely loved it, dude. And again, Lord of the Rings-esque.
Yeah.
Especially, the men who were there, with their swords and whatnot.
Yes. Some of their like crown things looked exactly like the ones we see in Lord of the Rings. That was good.
But yeah, I was going to get to that, Jacob. Yes.
Was that
Ares did strike? How awesome was that to see Zeus, Ares, and I can't remember the name of the Atlantean king, but the three of them to work together to basically, beat Euxus. And Zeus hits him with a lightning, and then Ares comes up and it goes
big
wham, right in his shoulder.
That was cool.
Yeah, that was awesome, man. Like,
I was like, hit him again. I was like, hit him again, man. Like, take that thing and hit him one more time. But
well, I mean, he probably would have finished the job if it wasn't for the Parademons, all. Like,
they dragged him away right away. Yeah, they grabbed him right away. As soon as he went down, they grabbed him and pulled him in the ship. So,
by the way, I do like how they describe the Parademons. They're servants of Darkseid. They're alive, but they're drained of life.
Right.
They're actual deep down beneath. They're people, but they were taken over.
Right.
By Darkseid. So that was awesome. And also, going back to this question as well. I mean, there's so much that we don't know. Like back in Man of Steel, there was an open pod on the Kryptonian ship.
Yes.
maybe that
Good point.
Kryptonian was around for
Well,
a
there are
while.
rumors that was
Supergirl.
Supergirl. Yeah, I think it was a
Yeah.
prequel comic that maybe might have said that, but yeah, that was Kara Zor-El.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, maybe.
But for me, the highlight of part 2, The Age of Heroes, was the retelling of the Age of Heroes and seeing Zeus, Ares, the Atlantean King, Queen Hippolyta, the Amazonians, all of them going all out war. Like, we don't get that in comic book movies, but this movie pulled it off, and it was so well done. And it's kind of like it's a flashback exposition, but it's also like a foreshadow too of what it could come down to. If Darkseid,
Sure. If
you
he
know,
gets
yeah. So
what he wants or whatever, or if he
yeah,
gets close.
yeah. So moving on to part 3, Beloved Mother, Beloved Son. Now this one right here, my goodness, we'll get into Victor Stone and that incredible origin sequence, but it starts off with Barry Allen. We get to meet a different kind of Barry Allen than what we were introduced to in the 2017 movie. And I don't know about you, but for me, the humor, the levity that was presented, that worked. From the moment he steps in, he's like, "I'm sorry, first it was a bus, there was not a bus, an old lady, nickel penny, nickel." I was like, "Yes, this is awesome. This is awesome, man." Uh, it goes from that to this amazing slow motion visual effects sequence of Barry Allen using his powers. First off, he breaks his shoes and then he touches the glass.
That was cool. That going through
Yes.
the glass was awesome.
And then he goes and he tries to catch Iris West, takes a hot dog, put it in his pocket, which serves a purpose for afterwards.
Yeah.
But for me, like the detail, the way he's handling Iris West and slowly brings her down, it's like, yeah, he doesn't like, it's the same thing that Quicksilver did in the X-Men movies, where he very carefully, I appreciated that, but even more so, the music. It's called Song to the Siren. And I thought the piece was beautiful,
Yeah.
mixed with the VFX. Wow. Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. What'd you think of that sequence?
Spectacular. I will say this is one of my, again, few negative-ish things.
What happened?
I still find Barry a little annoying, Ezra Miller's portrayal, at least in this scene. Yeah, I thought, okay, it's a different take on the character. And I'm not comparing him to the TV show at all. I'm just maybe a little, I don't know, but he's just kind of and I get it. It's just a different take that I just kind of doesn't necessarily fully work for me, but I get that he's kind of a little more of the comedic relief in his film, but he's not as silly as he is in the other one, where it's just all just, no jokes about brunch and none of that. It's a lot more streamlined.
You had to bring that up.
Yeah, no, I know. But hey, listen, they cut all that out, right? So you can tell the difference of what was the other stuff and what's. This was really cool, man. Kiersey Clemens in that role of Iris West, and they don't speak at all. But you can see the connection as they're just walking by each other, and they're just kind of like
body language.
Hey, yeah, right. Those nonverbal cues, man. Just because if you know the Flash and if you know the TV series, you know anything about him, that's Iris. That's is she going to be in Flashpoint? Do we know?
Yes, they announced it a week prior to this movie's release.
Oh, cool. Okay, good.
So it's funny. They told Zack Snyder this movie's not canon, but this character that you have in your version, we're gonna take her and put her in this movie.
Right. Yeah. See. Okay. I know this. Yeah. Just let it. Whatever. Okay. But okay. Well, good. Well, I'm glad she's gonna be in it. Hopefully they can carry that over. But it was good. They're definitely going for their own version of the the Quicksilver thing. They definitely Fox, the Bryan Singer. They set the bar with the speedsters in both universes. With those kind of epic high speed scenes where they slow everything down, and yeah, it was cool. It was really cool. I liked it. I tore out of his shoes and stuff, which I got some sense he hasn't been the Flash. Probably been long enough that he kind of knows what he can do, but not long enough to. Maybe he just doesn't have the funding, obviously, or the resources to kind of, because he must be burning through a lot of shoes, probably, if that's happening. Right. You know what I mean? He doesn't have like any Flash-proof clothing yet, but that was cool, man. I love the way the lightning starts right around him before he goes, and the way he was going so fast. Like you really get the sense of when it's all over. Like he did all that in just fractions of a second, man. Like it was not faster. Like it's pretty incredible.
I like how it ends where he's sitting with the dog. He's like, "Oh my god, I hope everyone's okay."
Yeah. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jacob. And we're gonna talk about that Flash sequence at the end, man, where he just
that's great.
We'll get there.
Yeah, that is great.
We will get there. But another standout in this part for me was, and again, it adds more to Steppenwolf. Him and his parademons dragging Atlanteans out of the water and interrogating them. He picks up an Atlantean, throws him against a rock, and he starts bleeding out. Like, oof. Jesus, like this is not somebody you want to mess with.
Yeah, right.
I love that they gave him this type of screen time because you know his motivations, you know what he's trying to do, and he's not going to stop at anything. And it takes a team like the Justice League to stop this guy. And then from there we get some more shots of Lois Lane, going
Still
through
morning.
And some were complaining online about we didn't see enough of Lois Lane. How much screen time do you want of her going through her grief?
Oh yeah, there's not. If anything, it may have been. I was kind of questioning. Well, I get that you need her, but that was one of my things about the other movie was like, I don't know if do we really need Lois Lane really, other than that one part, at the end. But she's a part of it, so you got to kind of. It's a Justice League movie. There's only so much of her you can focus on, right? Like if it was a Superman movie, you get all the Lois Lane you want, but. In this one, you just show this is what she lost her guy, and so this is what's happening with her. I don't know. It worked for me. That was fine.
So let's get to the best sequence of this part 3, Beloved Mother, Beloved Son. The Victor Stone origin sequence.
Yes.
Reminded me of Dr. Manhattan's sequence.
Yeah.
Tell me what you think of it.
First of all, the football game. All right. This is what I've been waiting for. Victor Stone playing football.
Yeah.
Except it was Gotham City versus Wisconsin. Why? It's supposed to be Gotham versus Metropolis, man. Isn't that what they said it was going to be originally?
Well, they teased it, but I
thought it was Metropolis. Maybe I don't know.
They teased it in Batman v Superman, right? We saw Gotham versus Metropolis, but I
was like, oh man, it's supposed to be playing Metropolis U or whatever it is, whatever the name.
What if it was like USC? Maybe they wanted like a college team, and Wisconsin was the only one being like, okay, we can.
They wanted to let them use.
So the team in this movie is going to lose. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, right.
You could see USC and the U being like, no, we're not good.
No, they wouldn't. No,
Coach Saban would be like, yeah, right, over my dead body.
Michigan or right, exactly.
Yeah.
So it was cool. It was actually a well done, a pretty good football scene, man. It was very well done. I thought it was great. And I love how he's celebrating, looks up, sees his mom, and then he sees that empty seat, and you're like, oh,
yeah,
man, yeah, you're like, dang. So you know what's going on there. So. And then just the conversation that they're having in the car, and he's just, man, his performance, man, where he's got the tears in his eyes, and you really, man, you felt that, man. That's such a better job with him in this movie. It's too bad, and we're not going to get into it why he's not returning, but yeah, he's great in the scene. I love this sequence, man. I love the origin. Very well done.
You know, to that point, because I like to talk about these whenever the opportunity comes up, because I don't know if it'll come up later.
Sure.
The theme of fatherhood is so important in this movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not just for Victor Stone. Look at Barry Allen and, you know, him and his father, Arthur Curry. His only parental connection is his father at this point.
Oh, we didn't see him either. I was hoping to see him, but
think back to BVS. What does Bruce Wayne say at one point? I'm older now than my father ever was.
Yeah.
So important.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's like, it's just, it's such a powerful theme. It's so important in today's world. And it was so well done in this movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to Victor Stone, the visual storytelling, when, we see him playing football, we see the accident, and then his origin is kind of told through us through his father's voice and these beautiful visual effects, these animations that were taken through, where we're inside the mind of Victor Stone.
Yeah.
And we see everything from these, you know, currency bank figures like the bull, and I forget what the other one was, and like the bank,
the bear and the
nuclear
bull.
arsenal, and he's like, you can control all of this, and you know, the father Silas Stone was talking like, the question, no, the challenge is getting to harness your powers and understand them. And the sequence where he is watching the single mother struggle the whole time,
I love that.
You know, from her job, trying to support her, you know, her child, and just what Cyborg does with his powers. The first thing he does is help this woman out. And the look on Cyborg where he smiles and finds some sort of satisfaction from all of this.
Yeah.
And then we get the beautiful sequence of him on the roof trying to, you know, fly and learn more about his powers. Man, this sequence of him, like the clear two standouts of this movie, I mean, it has to be Cyborg and Flash because of what we saw in the 2017 movie.
Yeah.
Which may or may not be fair, but again, if we're going to compare this movie to any movie, any comic book movie property, it's definitely the 2017 movie.
Yeah.
And wow, what, I mean, just, you know, his heart, despite the accident, never changes. You know, we see Eleanor Stone, his mother, talking to the dean, and is like, Victor was trying to hack into the computer to help this girl pass her classes, and the mother, Eleanor, calls him out on this shit. The dean, he's like, my son was trying to help her. What were you doing? You know, like, ooh, damn. If you're gonna have limited dialogue and screen time, way to make it count, Chris Terrio. Great effing job.
Because he wasn't trying to, because it wasn't helping himself, right? He wasn't trying to change his grades. He was trying to help out a friend, or it could have been a girl he didn't know. I don't know, but just, you know, but yeah, that's exactly right. You know, he was, and I think, and it's great because it works with, you know, so much better in this one with Wonder Woman trying to talk to, or Diana trying to talk to him about, you know, helping them and what he can do, not just helping them, but like his purpose in the world, like what he can do with what he's been given. You know, he's got an opportunity to help others and really make a real difference in other people's lives. And I love that she was helping him show that. And we see that, like you said, because he had that in him. He's always had that in him. You know, it was great.
Yeah, definitely. So from there, we go back to Barry Allen and, you know, the scene that we saw in the 2017 movie of him speaking to his father. Look, it's just, it's little things that are added back in this original version, but for me, his humor works. When his dad is like, criminal justice, why would you want to get into that? He's like, oh, well, let me see. My father is locked up for a murder that he didn't commit for my mother. Criminal justice was just made for me. I don't know. And like, it's that sarcasm that, that subtle humor that it's weird. Warner Brothers wanted so badly, but ended up taking out of the movie for even more cringe-worthy, or not more, but cringe humor. And it's just like the irony of it,
I know.
Like, people think this movie is funnier, and not in a bad way, than the 2017 movie. It's it's just that was one of many examples. And then, of course, we see the Bruce Wayne, Barry Allen first meeting, and for the most part, it's the same, right? I mean, it's funny looking at this movie and seeing scenes that we're familiar with, from the 2017, and those scenes being the best parts of 2017. It's
exactly
wow.
Right.
But this is followed up by Alfred. You okay?
Yes. Yeah.
Alfred and Diana having a little fun exchange about making tea.
I love this so much. This was,
and
great.
It's like, why was this cut? This is the type of dialogue that people want in these movies.
Exactly.
Where they're having fun. I don't get it, Keith.
You're exactly right, man. This is the stuff, like, and this is stuff, we're so used to seeing her be so powerful and, picking up big 10-ton things and throwing them around and punching all these things. And this is a great lighthearted moment of something we can relate to, right? And, and obviously Alfred being a British gentleman, he knows he's an expert on tea, and he's trying to show her, hey, no, okay, no, okay, this way, do it that way. And she's like, okay, right, and she laughs because she gets it. It was a really funny, lighthearted moment. I loved it a lot. It was really good.
You think back to Batman v Superman and how Alfred had some of the more subtle humor moments.
Right.
He's like, in your dreams, Alfred.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, stuff like that. But yeah, talking about that, she goes to meet Cyborg, and one of the examples of why this movie's R-rated is like Cyborg's like, fuck the world.
Yeah.
Whoa. It was just people some people online were like, the world had a presence in Man of Steel and Batman v Superman.
Sure.
As far as their skepticism towards Superman. But in this movie, the world barely had a presence, Well, Cyborg says, fuck the world. And this movie's about the Justice League. So, yeah.
I wonder how much of this.
Caleb, thank you for the comment.
I get it. I think it makes sense. She's still.
Well, I think they both know how to make tea, but it just comes down to like different, preferences.
Yeah, like I said, he's English. They do tea a lot differently, from where they are. Like they're he's older English gentleman, or
But again, it's the humor, Ryan Choi in the following scene has a line of dialogue that is meant to be funny, where he goes, "You're looking at the hottest thing on earth." Exact words I said to my prom date. She dumped me anyway, and it's like, okay,
yes.
It's just that I mean, people will take that over, the it's cherry, thing. Yeah. So, how'd you feel about the Atlanteans communicating to each other? I noticed it. I didn't notice it the first time, but when Mira doesn't open the bubble to talk, they communicate as if like a whale would communicate. How'd you feel about all
that? Were they doing that in Aquaman? I don't remember.
I don't think so. I
don't think they were, right? It was talk. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was different. I wonder if that's just something they were doing before they figured out what to do in Aquaman, right? Like before oh my gosh, what's his name? The director.
James Wan.
James Wan. Yeah, sorry, James Wan. Yeah, before he figured out how they were going to do that. But it was a good scene. I didn't know that I forgot about Amber Heard as well. I think they showed her briefly early on. But another scene. Are you talking about when she talks to Arthur when they're having the discussion about his mom? Is that the scene? I can't remember.
Which one?
Or is that later? When Mira and Arthur are talking about. Oh no! This is when I'm thinking of when Steppenwolf goes to get the mother box.
Yeah, that's. I'm sorry.
Later?
That's where we're getting into. So,
okay, sorry. Okay, gotcha.
Mira communicates to the Atlantean soldier, and it's done in like a very how whales communicate to each other.
Right. I guess maybe sonar, not sonar necessarily, but
yeah, I know what you mean. I can't.
Yeah.
But from there, well, first off, that whole communication, I thought it was unique, but I kind of like how Aquaman did it better. How Aquaman did it, because it just some things you don't have to, just make it simple.
Yeah.
Them talking to each other. Like, I get what they were going for.
Right.
With the little sounds that they were making to each other before they open the bubble up and start talking.
Right.
But yeah, that was just, my opinion on that. Yeah. But yeah, we get Steppenwolf attacking the stronghold where the Atlantean mother box, or the mother box in Atlantis, is being held. And for the most part, it's kind of the same, except there's more blood when Steppenwolf rips the Atlantean soldier in half.
Yeah.
And when Mira, I saw this back in 2018 or 2019. It was a previs effect of Mira using her power to drain out the water and blood from Steppenwolf. Steppenwolf's like,
yes,
you can't escape. And she's like, I'm not trying to escape.
Right.
And boom. And Steppenwolf is like, holy.
Yeah.
Wow,
that was good.
Yeah.
Well, I love how she opened up the air thing, and he just fell like 100 feet to the bottom of that thing first. And then, she was trying to. That was really good.
These, you have to remember, this movie, a lot of this was shot in 2016. So this was going to lead into the Aquaman movie, where she uses her powers and is able to drain the water out. Remember when she does the sweat from Aquaman to use to open whatever the key was in the Sahara thing?
It's like for those of you who watch that ever followed the Last Airbender series, he's like a water bender, the blood bending,
exactly,
like the blood bender. Yeah. So
yeah. So we got a comment here from Jacob. They comment, but the scene of Cyborg's dad explains powers to him on tape is incredible. Yes, Jacob, it's very. If you remember Watchmen and how they explained Dr. Manhattan's origin, very much the same thing, and except the Cyborg one might be better. Damn, I can't wait to revisit this movie. It'll be my fourth time watching it. My roommates are watching it right now, and I'm kind of jealous. But, yeah, so Steppenwolf gets the second mother box from the Atlanteans, and then boom, part 4, Change Machine.
Yeah.
This part, so I timed it. An hour and 50 minutes in, we finally see Batman.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm okay with that, because this movie is so far trying to introduce all these other characters and whatnot. We've seen Batman, but when we finally see Batman standing on a statue and the theme plays, I don't know if you noticed the Junkie XL theme.
Yes.
It was beautiful. We're introduced to the real Batman.
Yeah.
And he's very much the real Batman in this movie.
Yeah.
Whereas in Batman v Superman, he was, killing people and whatnot, and which it didn't bother me, because in the context it made sense. But in this one, he's more Batman. Bruce Wayne is more Batman. But from there, it's the rooftop sequence where they all come together and figure out where these missing people have gone, and it's mostly the same. Right. Take out maybe just a little bit of that added humor that they put in with Barry Allen in The Flash. But so they go to the Parademon nest, and I don't know about you, but again, Junkie XL's score there are moments where it really hits. When they're landing and it goes dan dan minute. I'm just like, yes, that is awesome. And so talk about this scene, this sequence of their first time going face to face with Steppenwolf. How do you feel about that?
Well, to jump back a little bit to when they're
Sure, go ahead.
talking to Commissioner Gordon, again, another one I forgot. It's like, oh, that's right. J.K. Simmons was
J.K.
Commissioner
Simmons
Gordon.
as Commissioner Gordon.
Oh, man. See, I don't know if
What a
we'll see
waste.
him again. I know. It's too
What a
bad.
waste, Warner Brothers.
Yeah, I know. I wanted to get maybe, I don't know, maybe we'll see him in Flashpoint. I don't know. But yeah, love that scene. The music cue there where he's standing on the, you got Batman on the statue there. I know in the last one, or in the other one, that was the moment where I think Danny Elfman did the original '89 Batman music cues there. And this one was, and I noted that watching this one, this worked way better in this one. As much as it was kind of fun to hear that, it didn't feel as, I don't know. This felt a lot better. You get the other Batman theme, the Batman music from. This felt. I don't know if the score is. I got to listen to it. I got to listen to it. It's not quite as great. Listen, that BVS score is top shelf, man. Like that's, so it's going to be tough to, and Man of Steel as well. Both those scores with Hans Zimmer. But I got to listen to this one start to finish to see how I feel about it. But the score is great. I don't know if it's quite up there with BVS, but no, that's a great scene. I loved it. Like you said, they cut a lot of the more, I don't want to say campy-ish stuff, but it's just the humor. Like I said, there's humor there. It feels more natural. It feels less TV show jokey ish. Feels less. A lot of the Whedon stuff. Again, I don't want to be like bashing Whedon here, but a lot of the stuff that's like Firefly, Buffy, Vampire Slayer type of dialogue and humor cues there. This one felt a lot more natural. Some of the lighter moments and funnier lines of dialogue. So, but this one worked. The scene obviously where the Flash is talking and he turns around and they're all gone and he's like, oh wow, they all just like that scene felt. I don't know. It was still pretty. I thought it was okay before, but and you just get Commissioner Gordon just like, all right, this is what, like when you see Cyborg for the first time, you can see the look on his face. He's just like, what is that? Like, so I love his performance there.
It's the subtle humor from the humans, Commissioner Gordon, Alfred.
Because he's seen a lot. Like Commissioner, he's working with Batman for 20 years. He's probably seen all kinds of crazy stuff. But even now, seeing this Cyborg man.
Well, before that, he goes, how many of you are there? Like he's running with Flash, and then like 5 minutes later, there's a Cyborg coming. He's just like,
okay, what?
Just go with it.
Yeah, right. But the scene where they find the. I'm sorry. Okay.
No, go ahead. You go ahead.
I was just saying, they find the Gotham Harbor thing. Again, much better in this one. Especially like with Ray, Cyborg. What's his name? Victor's dad down there.
Silas Stone.
Silas Stone. Yeah, I was trying to remember his name. Yeah, Silas Stone. Like again, you get the real sense of it just felt a lot more dangerous, a lot more urgent this time around. And just once Steppenwolf shows up, and they did a good job up to this point of building that threat, man. Because he's just going around looking for the stones. Sorry, oh my gosh, looking for the boxes. And then, sorry.
Okay.
But it's kind of similar to that, though. I had not to compare those two things, but you really get, like I said, you get a real sense of that threat. So when he shows up here, you can tell that it's like the stakes feel higher this time, and then trying to save all those people and all the Star Labs people, and and he's trying to find people that have the scent of the boxes on them. And
box,
like great scene. I really like that. I like it. They took out the part where the Flash is kind of like, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know. No, he just kind of just does it. Like, I felt like that worked a lot better this time around, where you there's still some little bit of encouraging. Like it's just more like let's just get to it. Like you don't need to be, necessarily I don't know what to do. Like he still maybe doesn't know what to do, but it kind of just goes and acts naturally and just does it. And it's they really worked well together, being that they're working together for the first time. But it's good, really good scene. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, it's night and day. This scene for me.
Yeah.
First off, Barry Allen's not some scared little kid. Just like, which one do I save?
Right,
I just question people and run away. It's just like, what? It's just like, dude, you are incredibly powerful. How fast you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love the first time we see him in action with the Parademons, where
he's shooting at him, and
the movie takes time showing us his powers. He goes from wham, bam, and then he goes up against the wall. Like it's just, I don't know. It worked better for me. Seeing Wonder Woman go toe to toe with Steppenwolf. First off, when she first attacks the Parademon toward the wall and pins him toward the wall, looks at Steppenwolf, and then the Amazonian score plays, and it's just like, yes. And as soon as Steppenwolf goes for his axe, she tackles him through the wall and starts going toe to toe with him. It's just like that works so much better. There's no cringe humor from Batman, like, oh, sorry, I didn't bring a toy, or I didn't bring a sword, or wow, he is tall. It's like none of that is in there. And man, what a sequence. No, not a sequence. What a shot of Barry Allen when the hostages are outside and there's debris falling, and you see just Barry Allen like go in circles, and just like you see flashes of him here, and everyone's just looking up like what's going on. It's just wow. So well done. And then of course we get Aquaman's entrance, where instead of just coming out of nowhere, he's standing as the water is pouring and just being right there. And Diana's looking like, is that an Atlantean? I haven't seen one in thousands of years. Right. And it's Aquaman. Right. Sequence was so much better.
Yeah, absolutely.
So much better, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. And it's the whole thing with Steppenwolf taunting Diana. And you can see she's trying to keep her cool, but also you can see it growing inside her. She's like, okay, enough of this, And that's a great fight between the two of them. He's cutting deep, man. He was you could tell, like oh goodness, he was hitting below the belt for some of the stuff he was saying to her, but
yeah. So obviously they're not the Justice League yet, but we'll call them the Justice League. They prevail. Steppenwolf goes back to his base, and he gets to see Darkseid for the first time.
Yeah.
After learning about the anti-life equation being on Earth. And I thought this was one of the more, memorable moments of Steppenwolf. And it was seeing him without his armor, like stripping his armor in the presence of Darkseid. Like for me, that's him saying, like, there is not any shed of betrayal, no second thoughts about that. I am stripping my armor in your presence.
Yeah,
my loyalty is to you. It's that little detail that makes, for me, this villain Steppenwolf so much more than just your average throwaway villain to make the hero look better. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, yeah. Not just cannon fodder, right? Which the Parademons are definitely that, but all movies, superhero movies need that, so that's fine. But yeah, you're absolutely right. And like I said, it just, and I don't know if they're still doing New Gods. I don't know if that's still on.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know at this point.
Who knows? I hope so, because I want to see what happened. I want to know what's going on up there with all these guys, man.
Since I have you here, one thing I got to say is that, people's argument back when, Lisa Snyder Cut was, doing his thing was that you don't want this movie to release because you don't want to ruin the DCEU. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. what do you mean by DCEU? You know, like, what are you talking about? This universe that they're building? Because ever since 2017 Justice League, there's been very few DC movies, and sure, they might have been box office success, but as far as like, you know, the story arc or, you know, the continuity or whatnot, they're all pretty much their own solo things with very little reference to the DCEU or to the Snyderverse. And it's like, you know, now that this movie has come out, what damage has it done to the DC canon that, you know, is supposedly there? None. If anything, it makes it better.
Absolutely.
It makes it better.
I'm watching this movie ended, and I'm just like, what was? Let's keep this going. Like, why didn't they just pick this up right? Because this was initially going to be Justice League Parts 1 and 2, right? When they first announced it.
Yes.
There were going to be 2 parts. Zack Snyder was going to do them both.
But what happened was, again, Warner Brothers reactionary. They caved and they listened to,
because of BVS didn't make.
They listened to the critics.
Yeah.
Instead of listening to the fans.
Yeah.
The critics is what got you.
That's
a watered down version of Snyder's Aquaman.
Yeah.
It's what got you Birds of Prey. And that movie's fine, but it got you that before Gotham City Sirens, before that Joker Harley Quinn movie, that Mad Love that they
That's right.
that was in development. It's just like, you were so reactionary and you listened to the wrong people. You listened to the critics instead of the fans. And now that you listen to the fans, we got this movie. And guess what? People are enjoying it.
Well, they always say fans, you know, like John Campion, he always says, you know, fans vote with dollars, right? I mean, Batman v Superman made money. It's not like it didn't, like it wasn't a flop in any way, shape, or form. It didn't make as much as probably we would hope for a Batman versus Superman movie. But it was like 168 million opening or something, if I remember, something like that. Somewhere along those lines. So, I mean, it made money.
Batman v Superman had a worldwide opening. So opening weekend, it made over 468 million.
A lot of money.
Worldwide opening weekend. The problem was the drop off in the weeks that
after
followed.
That. It was
on top of the critical reception. And
still. Well, they started shooting Justice League like what, 2 weeks later or something like that. Like they probably should have.
Well, they were already neck deep in pre-production for Justice League.
Right.
The costumes were built, the script was done, the actors were locked in, everything was good to go. And the book I'm reading, with written by Sean O'Connell, goes into great detail about that. Excuse me, but to see this movie and to see that this was the plan, if WB had just stuck to the plan.
Hashtag let Snyder cook. That's the new one. Let's get that going. Let Snyder cook.
No. It's restore the Snyderverse.
Restore the Snyderverse. Okay. We can do them both. Restore the Snyderverse. Let Snyder cook. I'm getting that going. Let's go. But yeah. So, well, like I said, it all works. What's the next? This is are we in part 4 still?
Yeah, we're getting there. I'm going to kind of speed it up a little bit. What'd you think about General Swanwick visiting Martha?
That's right.
Visiting Lois. Sorry,
Lois.
I'm
he's
almost on my second glass.
When he was being Martha, right? He was. That was an interesting scene. I didn't quite. I was kind of wondering. Wait a minute. What was he? I guess he's trying to get Lois back in the game. Clearly, somehow. I didn't quite know. I was kind of wondering what his angle was here. Like, why was he? So why didn't he just? He knows her. Why didn't he just show up as himself?
Okay. So I took notes and I wrote down a big chunk of dialogue.
Okay.
I'm going to read it to you. I'm going to put it in the chat for people to also read along. And I want you to tell me, do you see a double meaning to where either Martha or Swanwick, Martian Manhunter, could be saying this? Does it have double meaning? All right. Okay. Here we go. All right. Here it is. This is Swanwick, disguised as Martha, telling Lois the whole world is mourning, grieving over a symbol. Everywhere I go, I see that S. I hear what people say. They talk like they knew him, but they didn't know Clark. And I can't stop them and tell them how proud I am of my son. You're the only one who knows, who feels what I do, burdened by a secret on top of a grief. Now, to me, the only thing that maybe is like that's more Martha than Swanwick is the line, and I can't stop and tell them how proud I am of my son. But is it a reach to say Swanwick maybe began to see Superman as kind of like, you know how there's a father figure, but like a son figure? Because Superman is young and Swanwick is this, like he's older.
All right.
To me, it can be this whole dialogue can be seen as kind of like a double meaning. But what do you think?
Yeah, perhaps. Perhaps. I do kind of. I thought I would have a. I remember when we first. I remember I first asked you, "Is he going to be Martian Manhunter? Like, are they going to say he was Martian Manhunter the whole time?" It didn't bother me as much as I thought it was gonna. Not really at all, to be honest. Although I'm still kind of curious, like, well, why did they not kind of say that back in like Man of Steel? Because his behavior didn't necessarily suggest that he. Maybe I have to watch it again, knowing that he is who he is. I'll have to watch it again.
That's the thing about these movies. You go back and watch them, learning new information. You take more away with each viewing.
Well, I guess I do. Like, I think, and he said that at the time, like there was concept art, like he was gonna be Martian Manhunter. For whatever reason, they didn't let him do it. I don't know. Or
right.
I'm assuming that was a studio decision. I don't know, but yeah, I'm gonna go back and look at his interactions with him in Man of Steel and everything going forward. But that said, yeah, he probably does look at him. I wonder if it's something that he's. I know in a lot of versions. I know I'm gonna jump to, let's say, Smallville. And I know Smallville takes a lot of liberties with all this stuff. Okay, but he knew him, right? Like he knew Jor-El, and he knew that he told Jor-El he would watch over his son on Earth. That's part of the reason why he was there. I wonder if there was something similar-ish going on here, where maybe he knew there was a Kryptonian on Earth, right? Maybe he didn't know exactly who it was, and then now that he knows that it's Clark / Kal-El, and maybe he does have some sense of responsibility over him. When I think back to BVS, like right when they fired that nuke at him, which again is something he kind of was like, all right, I don't necessarily want to do that, but I don't know. He clearly knew, right? I don't know if he knew whether or not that would kill him, but yeah, it's a great line of dialogue. I'm glad you caught that and noted it. But a lot of it, like you said, he does a great job of sounding like Martha. I don't know how much of her did he know that where he, I don't know if he ever went and spoke to her, or maybe in the time in between then and here. I don't know, but it works. It definitely works. But it was a real surprise, right? He walks outside the door, or she walks outside, and her eyes glow, and we're like, "What's that?" And then he morphs into, and boy, the effect, by the way, he looks awesome, right? He looks really cool.
He does.
No, yeah, he's a really cool looking version of that character. So I really hope we see him again. But yeah, that was a good scene. I like that scene, and basically, like I said, just like, hey, Lois, I know we're all sad. Come on, get back in it. Get back out there, man. It's okay. We got to move on. That's kind of the sense I got of it. What she whatever was saying. So, but it was a good scene. I liked it.
Yeah. And people are saying online like they wish that were Martha having a scene with Lois. You got your Martha and Lois scene in the 2017 movie, and we saw how that turned out.
Right. She made some terrible line. Or whatever.
Thirstiest young woman.
Yeah.
Yeah. But with this one, it's like, okay, you gotta understand, Martha is also grieving as well because she not only lost her husband, she lost her son.
Right.
You don't think she needs time to grieve?
Right.
And
she's
who
lost her
does
house.
what?
And then she just lost her house.
Yeah. It's just like,
Her farm.
but let me go check on Lois,
Right.
and like, yeah. But the bigger point I have is Swanwick and Lois have a connection.
Yeah.
Okay. Swanwick is also, grieving as well.
Mhm.
And he says, as Martha, I went to the Daily Planet, and Perry says you haven't been at work, since Clark died. So, and what I put is, and I'm not going to bring up my own quote, but I was about to do that. He says, the world needs you too, Lois.
Right.
If he goes there as General Swanwick, you think Lois is really going to listen or give him the time?
Yeah.
But if he goes there as Ma Kent, Lois will open the door. Lois will sit down. Lois will listen.
That's good. That's a good point. Yeah.
You see, it's just Swanwick, Martian Manhunter, whatever you want to call him, and I'll give credit to other fans who have pointed this out. His whole thing is bringing out the best in people, whether it's Lois Lane, whether it's Superman, or whoever.
Yeah.
Up until this point, his power has been just bringing out the best in people. Why reveal himself when he can do more good as Swanwick?
Oh yeah.
But why didn't Martian Manhunter help out in the fight? Well, because
I do have that question.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look at it this way: you got Superman, you got Wonder Woman, you got Flash, and Aquaman. How much more do they need? Maybe Martian. Maybe General Swanwick, Martian.
When he talked to him at the end, he's like, "Hey, we'll take all the help we can get." So they could have used it.
He says in the end, he says, "I don't have. I now realize I have a stake in this world.
Sure.
So I need to come out and fight."
Right. Yeah. He clearly had a reason he wanted to stay undercover. So again, hopefully, who knows if we'll ever see the character again. Unfortunately, I hope it's not as big a waste.
Who knows if we'll see a sequel? So.
Yeah, but I'm sure it's something Snyder had in mind or had plans to show.
Yeah. So let's go to part 5. All the King's Heroes.
Yes.
First thing I want to bring up is Diana, Arthur, Barry, and Victor are going to retrieve Superman's body after deciding that they need Superman to defeat this threat. By the way, I love that they were kind of not really debating it, but just having a conversation about whether they should do this or not.
So you're exactly right. I noted that. Like, it wasn't as much of a debate like before. Like, Diana was fully like, no, we can't do this, or if I recall, right?
Yeah.
Whereas in this one, they're all kind of like, ooh, I don't know. But it was less of a debate in this one than the last one.
Yeah.
I definitely noted that.
Yeah. So they're going to retrieve Superman's body. And I love that they gave Arthur and Diana, a moment to conversate about, Diana is like, wow, Atlanteans and Amazonians, like thousands of years. Yeah. And Arthur, meanwhile, is like, no, half Atlantean. Okay, I hate them as much as you do. It's just like, it's just like there is no, tension between us because I am more team land than team underwater.
Right.
Meanwhile, and again, more subtle humor, but Barry's like, wow, Wonder Woman. You think she'd go for a young guy like me? And then Victor's like, She's 5,000 years old, Barry. Every guy is a younger guy.
Yeah.
You see, it's like,
that's good.
Why did WB take that out? They wanted humor.
The show, they put in Barry tripping and falling into her chest, and stuff like that.
No. They wanted the guy who did 2 successful Avengers movies to add humor. It didn't matter how much great dialogue Chris Terrio wrote.
Yeah.
They just wanted Joss Whedon.
Right. Which, on some level, again, I don't want to turn this into that, but I get it. But you can't ask him to come in, and he didn't have any time, right? They asked him to come in, and sure, but just do what you did on Avengers, and like that didn't, that wasn't
Here's
the way.
The thing. Let me quickly say this about Joss Whedon, okay? Because we don't get this kind of opportunity to talk about this on the other channel, but let me say it right here. Okay. Joss Whedon has enough problems going on right now. With all the abuse that's coming out. Okay, it's not just Ray Fisher. If you haven't been around, it's other people as well.
Mm-hmm.
I will say he did not have a fair shake with Warner Brothers. They brought him in. They refused to push back the 2017 Justice League movie because they wanted their annual bonuses, the last ones before AT&T took over and became the parent company to Warner Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Joss Whedon did not have a fair shake. If I were Joss Whedon going back, I would tell him, don't take that job.
Yeah.
Do not take it because you're going to – I get it. People didn't like Age of Ultron, and you have a chip on your shoulder, and a lot of things from Age of Ultron are in the 2017 Justice League movie.
Yes.
From humor to, similarities among the action and whatnot. Yeah. Don't take this job. Do not take it because Warner Brothers is like not the place right now. And so in his defense, he should not have taken that job.
Yeah.
But that's all I will say about Joss Whedon.
Absolutely. But, I think that was a name hire. That was like, all right, Zack Snyder stepped away. We need somebody to come in and finish this. And I think just the headline of Joss Whedon taking over Justice League to get that was a kind of a name.
Not to steer away too much, but Joss Whedon was there before Snyder left. He was there before the tragic passing of his daughter.
I think I do remember hearing that. Yeah,
he was brought in by Jeff Johns to help produce and develop a Batgirl movie.
That's right.
But nobody will ever come out and say this, but people believe that Jeff Johns, who became DC Films president at the time, was trying to get Joss Whedon to somehow, have a bigger part in, the production, the creative process of Justice League.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Say what you want.
Sure.
Joss Whedon did 80 pages of rewrites on the script.
Right.
You don't do 80 pages of rewrites if you're just coming in to just finish what Zack Snyder started.
Right.
Clearly, they had an agenda.
Yeah.
And thank you. I don't get to talk about this enough. Right. So it's nice to finally talk to somebody about this.
Yeah, sure.
But
that's interesting. Like I said, we need to.
Oh, we'll get to that.
Yes.
We will get to that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So another thing I want to mention is
thank you, Jacob. Jacob getting us back on track here. Thank you.
Yeah. So Alfred and Bruce, again, their dialogue is top notch.
Yeah.
While the others are trying to retrieve Superman's body, Alfred is back at the hangar with Bruce, trying to reason with him, saying, you did it. You've done your job. You brought them together. And he's talking about your guilt has overcome your reason. Not all the king's horses, not all the king's men. But then Bruce Wayne interrupts it and is like, Alfred, for once I'm operating strictly on faith, not reason. And he says faith twice in this movie.
Yeah.
That's all right. This is clearly a different Bruce Wayne, a different Batman.
I noted that too. Yeah.
But the dialogue between them, again, Chris Terrio's dialogue, he says, Alfred says, if you can't bring down the charging bull, then don't wave the red cape at it. And Bruce Wayne says, you do when it's this red cape. This red cape charges back.
Yes.
And it's just, again, the excellent dialogue. But yeah, so they bring Superman back to the Kryptonian ship and they restore him, but not before Cyborg sees a nightmare sequence.
Yeah, that's right.
Where Superman has to come to the anti-life equation.
Right.
And we see a shot of Wonder Woman with coins on her eyes being buried, dying, probably by the hands of Darkseid.
Yeah.
And then we see Darkseid using his Omega beams in Atlantis.
Yeah.
And it's just a terrible sequence, but he doesn't stop it in time because he's too caught up in the moment.
Right.
And so they resurrect Superman, and then the fight at Heroes Park happens, and it's mostly the same. Although there is one standout funny sequence or moment that I'm glad that they put in, and it's this one. When Flash attempts to tackle Superman, and Superman slightly moves to the side, and Flash tackles Aquaman.
Yeah.
I just thought that was awesome, man. But of course, as you see a few moments later, Lois Lane ends up being the one to save Superman. What'd you think of that? The Heroes Park?
Great, so much better. Like I said, it's still a little bit slightly similar, but also just a little different. I like how they take out that whole thing of Superman, grabbing Batman, talking to him, using the same, do you bleed, callback from BVS. I didn't didn't bother me. Like, I didn't mind it in the other one, but I thought it worked way better. Just cutting all that out and having I'm gonna laser you, and that was it, right? And Batman, who fears nothing, is like, no, like, and you see, it's less of fear of his own life, because he says the world needs you, Clark. No, don't do this in front of everyone, then, you know what I mean? Like, don't turn into this monster, because he's seen it. Like, he knows what's going to happen if he does this. So, like I said, it's less fear for himself, because Batman fears nothing, right? But he doesn't want this man to destroy everything all the goodwill that he's been building. And yeah, like, I've seen it. Gosh, it all really works, man. It's just a well done scene. I do like how when Victor and Barry are digging the grave, they did point out, which is great, because it was a funny little thing, like a little nitpick thing from before, where they're like, why are they digging so slow? I love how Barry immediately says, I could do this in a nanosecond, right? So I like how they pointed that out. Like, he could just.
Well, they're being respectful, right? I mean, he says, he was my hero,
right?
And it's just like, you don't dig somebody out like that,
No,
who was your hero and whatnot, because you don't know what could go wrong.
That's exactly right. Yeah,
you want to make sure you're very careful about doing that.
Yeah.
But from there, Steppenwolf arrives, and Silas Stone makes the sacrifice to mark the mother box. And we see Cyborg Victor Stone, Cyborg. We see Ray Fisher give one of the more emotional reactions, moments in the movie with his father. And it was just, it cut deep, but the sacrifice was not without purpose. They know where the mother box is because they marked it. Silas Stone marked it. And now begins part 6, something darker, where they rally to go and, confront Steppenwolf. But this part starts off with Clark Kent, on his journey to, rediscovering himself, so to speak. He, goes back to the farm and begins to realize who he was, who he is.
Yeah.
And that reunion is awesome. It's great.
So much better. Yeah.
Yeah, and then from here he goes on to go and get his suit, and
Oh yeah.
this shot right here,
Oh man.
yeah, go ahead, talk about that.
Listen, and all right, as I was watching it in real time, I took a screenshot immediately and sent it to you because I was enjoying the movie, but as soon as this happened, I was like, okay, I'm in. That's where I made the conversion. That's where I changed over. I'm like, this is the coolest thing that's happened in all these movies. I'll compare that right to his flight scene in Man of Steel, when he first puts on the suit and takes flight. This might be better, to be honest. I mean, I gotta, I was like, I just watched it the one time, but I love that so much. I absolutely loved it. And again, it all felt more earned. Like I said, I was dreading the runtime, but up until this point, and this is well past 3 hours at this point, right? It's probably about 3:20, I think. Maybe we're looking at the time, seeing it's right around 3:15, 3:20 ish. But I never felt like, oh God, when I wasn't looking at the time, I was into it, and it felt more earned, and I really felt a sense of like, yes, all right, he's back. Everything's gonna be okay, And I love the black suit. Loved everything about all of that, man. It was so great.
Yeah,
and I love that he just flies up there and he's taking in some yellow sun, man.
Embrace, yes,
right. He's got to recharge.
Regeneration suit.
That's right. That's exactly right. Yeah, exactly. So loved it.
And then our heroes go and confront Darkseid. Batman has this awesome sequence where the Parademons open the ship and it's all smoky and dark, and then he puts on the high beams on a Batmobile, guns them all down. I thought that was done way better. And then, of course, we get our hero shot in the movie.
That's great. Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
So well done. And, of course, they battle Steppenwolf. And, they're putting up a fight. You got Wonder Woman and Aquaman and Cyborg, doing their thing, working together. And then this guy appears. Where is the photo? Boom.
Yeah.
Not impressed, and continues to give Steppenwolf a beating.
Just smacks him around.
The crap out of Steppenwolf.
Yeah.
And I don't know what Superman fan would not be, happy about that moment. And, they end up kicking Steppenwolf's ass, and they're about to do it. They're about to separate the Unity and Mother Boxes, but then they're too late.
Right.
And then we get to this incredible sequence from the Flash, where he uses the Speed Force to go and save the day.
Yeah.
He ends up talking to himself. He recites the words that his father told him: make your own future, make your own past. He's talking to himself, saying, Barry, you got to go. You got to break your rule. You got to run faster than you've ever ran. The music, the visual effects, the dialogue, it's one of the best sequences I've seen in any comic book movie, in my opinion. But what'd you think about that whole Flash sequence?
Loved it so much because you go back to earlier in the movie and I love how he explains the Speed Force. Like he's explaining to Bruce, it's like a dimensional layer of reality or something like that manipulates space time or something like that or whatever he said. And so for him to couple that with him saying this, like, you got to break your rule. One of those things, or why would you cut that? Why would you cut this scene from the last one like this?
Yeah,
because it would make total sense. And I thought it was going to be the sequence in BVS where he went back in time. But then I remembered he was wearing some kind of armor in that one.
Yeah,
and we'll see that later in a few minutes. But wonderful scene. I loved to jump back. I love how when they're entering the space where in the last one, Batman's just like you guys go ahead, keep them busy. I'm gonna go do everything, pretty much. And they're like, no, we're doing this as a team.
Yeah.
Or this time they're working together, and he's full on like, just hey, it's all of us. Let's go do this. And he's still kind of giving direction, tell me where to go, what to do, being the leader. But yeah, it was less of none, in fact, of Batman trying to do everything himself, but which he does do sometimes if you read the comics. But yeah, I just love that they're all working together, which I love. And of course, the big guy shows up to save the day. But that moment when they're like, it's too late, I just was like, oh no! Like I kind of was wishing they would have stuck to that, to where like, no, they failed. I like what happened. But because of you get the great moment with the Flash. But I was kind of like, oh no, like what? Like wow, they didn't do it. So what's going to happen from here? I was kind of curious. I would have been curious to see where they would have gone if they failed. Like how it would, and Darkseid's coming. Like they're going to have to, got a full scale invasion. The worst, coming. So, but no, it worked. It was totally worked, man. Like that Flash moment was just spectacular. I really probably one of the high points, probably 2 or 3 high points of the movie, top 2 or 3. So.
Yeah, and then from there, Cyborg enters the mother box and is tempted. He's tempted by this false promise of, his family being one again, and he overcomes it. And then it proceeds to, him splitting the mother boxes. And right before the boom tube closes, there's this awesome sequence of Aquaman stabbing Steppenwolf, holding him up, Superman going and punching him into the boom tube, and right before he passes through, Wonder Woman cuts his head off.
That was awesome and shocking.
Yeah. And Darkseid is just like, ooh, I can't wait.
Stepped on his head. He stepped right on his head.
He stepped on his head, and it's you think this means something to me? You just piss me off even more, and you wait till I get there. And I think that's where they will fail.
Yeah.
And Barry Allen goes back. So they save the day. We get the epilogue, A Father Twice Over, where Victor Stone listens to his father's words. Remember, he destroyed the device right before his father was going to speak to him as a father. Now, is Lois Lane pregnant?
Do you think she is?
There is a very, very subtle line that Bruce says after he says he bought the bank. He says, "Congratulations, by the way."
Yeah, I noted that.
I was just thinking Lois. I think Lois or Martha, one of them is holding like a bassinet.
Really?
Baby. And then we see the shot of Lois having a pregnancy test on the drawer. She grabs it, walks to the bathroom to go.
I didn't even catch that. Wow.
Yeah, it's in there. I think Clark is a father. So
interesting.
Yeah.
No.
Too bad we won't see it, but yeah. And then we get this montage of all the heroes, going about their day or doing their thing. Flash is running free, which I like to see that. And Wonder Woman is with the arrow, she really wants to go back home. Queen Hippolyta says, "Come home to me." So we'll see what happens there. And the movie's about to end, except there is a nightmare sequence. And we see Mira, we see Joe Manganiello's Deathstroke, Jared Leto's Joker. What did you think about this nightmare sequence?
Well, just before that, we still get that what was a post-credit scene in the other movie with Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor.
Oh yeah, there's that too.
Still get that. Slightly different. Now I'm still a little like, oh, who knows? I mean, it's Lex Luthor. How do you escape? Who knows? It doesn't matter. But surely he's got the resources and the means for someone to get him out. So that's not a big deal. But my only issue with that is like he looks like he's got the suit like he's wearing Like, oh, he looks like Gene Hackman, which is funny, but I'm just curious. Like, it really wasn't necessarily his style. I didn't think from BBS, but so no big deal, no big deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, that scene was a lot better, right? They took out this silly, we'll just form a league of our own line, and this one felt a whole lot more serious, and this felt a little bit closer to, I've always been critical of all the Lex Luthors in all the movies. This one felt a little more like, okay, that's a little better.
Right? It was supposed to lead into the Batman movie,
right?
Because he said, if you want the Batman,
yes,
there is something that can help you.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just like, what? How do you know that? Like, but I think he did know that it was Bruce Wayne, right, from BVS.
Yeah.
So, and again, I'm sure he had ways to figure that out. So it's not a big deal. But obviously, Deathstroke was happy with that information, so that was cool. And then you cut to the nightmare scene, and world looks terrible. Is that Gotham? It looks like it's Gotham, or is it Metropolis? Oh, is it Gotham? Okay. And got a new team there. You see all those Mara and Deathstroke's on the team there for whatever reason. Yeah. And that let me tell you what. Whatever anybody thought of Jared Leto before, I thought it was fine. I understand the criticism of some of it. Not all. Like, they cut a lot of his stuff, so who knows?
Right.
But this was pure Joker, Batman back and forth. Like, this was spot on. Spot on.
Yeah.
And he gives him the classic, all versions in the comics or any movies or whatever, you need me. Like, you get that, right? It was well done. But those threats they're giving each other, I love how he's telling him, he's getting ready to taunt him about all the people he's lost. And Batman's like, watch what do you say? Choose your next words carefully, but Joker doesn't care. He's going to go there anyway. Right. And he tells him, you clearly get an idea of, okay, he sent, whether it's Jason Todd or Dick Grayson, whoever, right? Like, he's clearly telling him, you got him killed, right? And I love his response. He set the boy wonder, to do a man's job. Mm-hmm. Like, and I love Batman's reply, right? Like, he's talking about whatever happened with Harley Quinn, who knows? But I love what he said there. He's like, she made me promise, like, when I kill you, I would do it slow. And believe me, I'm going to effing kill you. I would do it slow. And I was like, okay. Yes. Because at this point, whether or not you're a fan of Batman killing people or not, doesn't matter. At this point, whatever's happening in the world, you know what I'm saying? You can't blame him, right? He's past that point because everything is a mess. So, and you really feel that threat and you believe him, right? And I don't know why he's got the Joker there on his team, but the way that whole scene is done, that ending, of course, Superman shows up and you're just like, oh no, there's nothing. Like, we're done. There's nothing we can do because he's here, right? Because they were trying to get to where he found them, and it was too late. And
we'll see what happens next, or will we?
I don't know. And that made, and I felt just like, God, like how could you not want to continue with that if you're, I don't know. So we'll see. But bravo, Zack Snyder. Like I said, I'm fully on board.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that so much.
Absolutely.
It was a total cliffhanger, but I mean, how could you not want to see more after that? And of course, we see Bruce Wayne get a visit by Martian Manhunter after he wakes up from the dream. That was supposed to be 2 Green Lanterns, but they changed it to Martian Manhunter because WB didn't want Zack Snyder to touch Green Lantern because they were doing a TV show. By the way, where's that TV show? Yeah. And then we get the end credits where it says For Autumn, which I thought was beautiful. Yes. And then you pair that with the Hallelujah cover by Allison Crowe. And each time I've sat through the credits, to the Hallelujah cover, just reminiscing, reflecting on this whole journey to this movie getting made. It's just, I love this movie so much. It's not perfect, but
it's very good.
It might be the best DCEU movie. it might be. I gotta really think about that.
I've been thinking about that, like I said, and I've only watched it just start to finish once, but I might, I think Man of Steel is pretty classic as a Superman fan. But I don't know if I'm at least putting it right next to it,
Yeah.
And I gotta say, I was thinking about you. I was happy for you because I'm just like, hey, listen, if I love this movie, I know you must be, and you earned it, right? Because you've been here from the beginning for years. You've been championing this, and boy, I mean, it came through. It must feel so good to have, because I was really like thinking, I had a brief moment before it started, like, oh man, I hope this is good, and I really did. Because if it would have been bad, it would have just been like, oh no, like it just would have been a bad feeling if it wasn't good. But I knew that was going to happen, right? Because he wouldn't be doing this. He wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't any good. Like he knew what he had. He knew the story he wanted to tell. He knew what his vision was, and I'm glad he was able to get it out there. I know he put up probably his own money for this, right? Didn't he kind of pay for this himself?
HBO Max gave him $70 million to.
Okay, good. Okay, oh, that's good. That's good. Well, wait, listen, worth it. Whatever, absolutely worth it. And I hope we get to see more. That's all I can say. I think this movie's beautiful. It's a lot of fun. It's long, but just hang in there, start to finish. It never feels boring. It never feels like I mean, you're in it all the way, start to finish. And for a movie that was so bad before. Like, I think it's pretty unprecedented to take that and just turn it into this. Like, we've never seen this happen. So it's remarkable, man. I'm very impressed.
Are you going to watch it? Are you going to try to watch it again before Tuesday?
I'm going to try to watch. Yeah. I'm going to try to get it in before Tuesday. Like I said, I got about halfway through it today. So I might lead back a little bit, jump back a little bit and just watch it again, start to finish. Just get the whole thing in. And I wanted to do this because I don't know how much, how I'm always on Tuesdays. I don't get to get in there on time with everyone, and it get to just be me and you. We could really talk about it here. So, but yeah, I'm gonna try to get it in one more time.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm gonna invite you back for more discussions about it because you better believe I'm gonna have more discussions on this channel about Zack Snyder's Justice League, including a ranking, an updated DCU rankings, and updated DC villains rankings as well. So if you're interested in any of those, definitely let me know. But that's going to do it for our Zack Snyder's Justice League spoilers discussion. Thank you, Keith, for joining me on this lengthy review. We're 2 hours in. I can't wait to see what Tuesday's review is going to look like.
Yeah.
Thank you for those of you in the chat. Jacob, I appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
Sean Franklin, I appreciate it. Johnny Quest, those of you watching on playback, I appreciate it so much.
Yes.
Keith, you want to plug in where they can find you?
I'm on Twitter at Keith Barnes 79, Instagram at Keith Barnes 1979, and you can see me on Apocalypse Movies every Tuesday and other videos, here and there. We do a lot of stuff, so check us out there.
Yeah, if you guys want more Zack Snyder's Justice League discussion, check us out Tuesdays Apocalypse Movies channel. We'll be doing a deep dive discussion, and I'm sure Keith will be in there maybe during the second half. But that'll do it for now. Thank you so much for joining us. This is Gio from the Fandom United podcast. I appreciate your time. Appreciate your subscriptions, and I'll see you guys soon.